And welcome back, Community Focus. Glad you could join us tonight. This is Kenny Fogle. Got with me today Josh Payne. Josh is with the Youth Service Center up at Bardstown High School. And Josh, first of all, I guess I knew you from years ago playing basketball. So Bardstown is in your blood.
That's right. Born and raised here in Bardstown. Went to Lexington for a few years, but I'm glad to be back home.
Well, that's the question too. You know, a lot of people, young people, when they leave Bardstown, don't come back. You did.
I did. I love the small town community, getting involved and helping out where I came from.
Okay, well, before we get into some of your ambitions, maybe, let's talk a little about the Youth Service Center. What exactly is a Youth Service Center for somebody that's never dealt with it before?
What the Youth Service Center is, it's where I work with the high school and the middle school students, and our ultimate goal is to remove barriers to academic success so students can succeed in the classroom. Of course, you have students deal with a lot of things outside of school that can times spill over into school, and then it kind of gets in the way of them learning the way they need to learn.
Well, I've always heard, a hungry child can't learn, or a child that's got something else on their mind can't learn. I know you told me one time before you weren't a counselor, but you lead them in the right direction to get counseling if they need some.
Right.
So basically, for a youth service center, you're working with not necessarily the teaching aspect of it, but getting them ready to learn.
Right, and there's several different components. There's 5 different components. We have referrals to health and social services, so that's dealing with your things like child protective services, getting people hooked up with insurance, teen pregnancy, domestic violence, those sorts of things. And then there's also career exploration and development. So that's looking at things like interviewing, getting ready for the job, job preparedness, and then summer and part-time employment. That's where we'll look at helping students with volunteering, different employment opportunities. Say, for instance, like we have teen gatekeepers. They work the gates at the games. Another is substance abuse. Anybody that may test positive on a drug test, anything like that, I will see them do Red Ribbon Week. And then also mental health. I do some mental health with that. It's more so assessing and then referring on what kind of needs do they have, and then getting them into the right hands to the folks in the community that are professionals in those backgrounds.
I know in family resource centers, obviously the younger children, if they've got a problem, they have no problem coming and telling somebody. But when you get into the teenage years, they're a little more hesitant to come and say, hey, Mr. Payne, I've got a problem with this. How do you find out? Is there some way of sort of recognizing when there's problems?
Well, there's different ways. You do have students that you create a rapport with. Those students are more likely to come and be more open with you. We do have different programs throughout the year that encourage students to do an acronym of ACT. Acknowledge, care, and tell. Acknowledge that something's going on with a friend, let them know that you care, and then tell a trusted adult. So a lot of times you'll see a friend come in and say, hey, Johnny is kind of feeling this way. I'm concerned about him. Could you talk to him? Yeah.
I don't know how to get into the legal aspects of it, but I'm sure a lot of it is pretty confidential between you and the person you're talking to. So if I'm going to come to you, I can trust that what I tell you is, I know in all cases it can't always just stay with you, because if it's something pretty serious, you've got to do something about it.
Right. In those situations, we do let students know that the information that we are discussing is confidential. Now, we do have rights to report on certain things if a student is discussing self-harm or harm to others. So at that point, it's no longer a secret. And one of the things that we do share with students is some secrets should be told.
Yeah.
And especially in those situations, in dangerous situations, we need to act pretty quickly to make sure that student is safe and others are safe.
Now, I know you reach out to students, but a lot of parents out that may be watching tonight may have a problem with their child, or they see a problem. Is there parents that ever come to you and actually approach you and say, can you help my child? Maybe you need to get involved.
Yeah, there is a lot of times students will say, hey, this has kind of been going on at home. I've been noticing Johnny's been spending a lot of time in his room on social media. Something's not right.
Yeah.
He's kind of lost interest in activities. Can you check on him for me and see if there's anything there? Just come in and just have a conversation with them and just kind of explore the situation and see if anything is going on and get them pointed in the right direction.
Okay, now you mentioned earlier about career guidance. I know yesterday I got involved with a little thing you had. It was is helping children. Well, I won't call them children. They're pretty young adults now.
Right.
But they're at the point now where they're starting to look at what they're going to do in college and what they're going to do on the rest of their life, and you help them in that direction too.
Yeah, and yesterday we had Operation Preparation, and what we did with that, of course, you were there. We sat down with the sophomore students, and we kind of caught up with them to see where they're at. Where are you at now, and where do you plan to go, and are you doing what you need to do to get to where you want to go? So, of course, looking at career opportunities, what do they want to go into? What kind of classes are they taking? Do you even know what that job does? Do you know how much it makes? Do you know what kind of schooling that it takes? So looking at those different type of things.
Now you been involved with Bardstown for several years now. Bardstown's a pretty big school system now. I mean, high school. How many kids are going there now?
We're getting close to 700. We're right around 675 or so. So we've definitely grown over the years. I think we were just peaking over 500 when I was in school.
Did they offer this kind of work when you were going to school there? Is this something, a new kind of program they're exploring? Or I don't remember anything like that when I was going to school.
I can't say that I remember Operation Preparation, but I do know that there were definitely other efforts. But I don't recall sitting down with community folks, that were generous enough to come in and take their time to shed light on students about future careers.
Well, the drug issue obviously has been around for years. I mean, so that's something you really get involved with to make sure that if somebody has a drug problem, you're going to get them in the right direction, and that necessarily it may be counseling, it may be something else.
Right. One of the things I do with that is I coordinate with the local program. So anyone that does pop up for any sort of reason under any sort of substances, that's kind of a first step. We sit down with them. I have a conversation with them. I get them connected with someone from the community so they can do an assessment with them. What kind of recommendations do they have? Is it something as far as a 7 challenges program, or is it, they need to be more involved in the community, or do they need a big brother, or do they need a long-term treatment? So there's definitely different aspects and, different phases once we meet with them.
Have a lot of success stories you could, I don't know if you want to go into them or not, but I know.
I mean, as far as success stories,
well, keeping somebody in school.
I think, just seeing someone that has, let's say that they have tested positive before, and, seeing them lose certain things that they love doing, whether it's athletics, or whether it's a relationship they had with someone, or if it's some sort of valuable that they had that they lost at that point, even respect that they lost. It's always good to see them make that change and learn from it, and not go back into the same mistakes that they've made before.
I know it's got to be a hard job. It's got to be a fulfilling job too in many ways, and that's probably part of what brings you back to Bardstown. On top of that, now I know you told me you had a master's degree in doing this, and obviously it's a degree that deals with working with kids, or how does that work?
I have a master's of science and social work. I actually got it from the University of Louisville, and it definitely encompasses really all of the 5 components that my center works with. So it's something that I've been doing for some time now, and I just have a natural knack for working with students and just being real with them on their level. That's something that I have without a master's degree.
Yeah, well, that's it. You either have it or you don't. Now, as youth service centers, are these something that's in most high schools in the state of Kentucky, or is this? Are you dealing with other schools that do this as well?
Yeah, we do stay connected. There are many schools throughout the state, not all, and many schools are trying to get family resource and youth services centers in their school. But here locally, Nelson County has a youth service center, as well as Thomas Nelson, so we do collaborate and we talk quite a bit.
Okay, somebody wants to get a hold of you. As a student, parent, anybody wants to get a hold of you just to find out what you do or what you could do to help them, how they get a hold of you?
They can stop by the school anytime. They can call. My office number is 502-331-8893, or feel free to shoot me an email. The easiest way is to kind of show up and track me down on campus. My role isn't a sit at the desk role. It's to be out and to be helping within the community and within the home. So I'm usually all over the place.
I know you're involved in other things as well, and with Youth of the Path Coalition, things of that nature. So there's a lot of youth issues that you have to be involved with rather than just being right there in the school building.
Right.
So again, you know, I know you got your hands full, and if somebody needs help, I hope they do get in touch with you, because again, a child has a hard time learning if they've got other things on their mind, and so that's what you're there to clear their mind a little bit.
Yes, indeed.
All right, well, Josh, I appreciate you coming in here today, and
having
thank
me.
you for being here, and thank you for what you're doing. And again, we got with our services offered in the schools today that you may not remember or may not have when we were growing up. For the older folks and for the younger people, look up Josh or his counterpart at whatever school you go to, and if you got some problems, they're there to help. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you tuning in.
Thank you.
Community Focus here on Central Kentucky TV. Kenny Fogle, you take care, everybody. We'll see you next time.